And a good day to everybody. How's it going out there in chronic pain land? I have been off because I haven't really known what to do for a video. And so if people give me comments, tell me what you would like me to do. Tell me what kind of research you'd like me to do for cannabis. And cannabis and chronic pain. So today I'm going to talk about chronic pain and my 4 M's. I started with 3, now I've got 4. Because morphine, marijuana, magnet therapy, and mental clarity. In other words, keeping a clear mind. Keeping away from what happened to me in 2013. I've told you before, I was on psych meds and OxyContin without cannabis. I was a totally different person. Personality change of 180 degrees. I didn't see it. And I was drinking. I was drinking to kill the extra pain that the oxy and the psych meds didn't. In fact, the psych meds, I think, worked against the OxyContin and made me hurt more. Because when I went to morphine, dropped the psych meds, except for the Seroquel, which is an antipsychotic, but it helps me sleep. And I got PTSD, so I should have an antipsychotic anyway. Valium is an anxiolytic and sedative. The Seroquel is the antipsychotic. What else do I have? Amitriptyline is another, not mind-altering, but I use it for sleep. It helps me get to sleep. And then the morphine. And boy, I got things to bitch about. The insurance company wants a prior authorization for my 60 milligram time-release morphines. Not the 30 immediate release, the time release. So, I started 3 weeks early. Told my doctor's PA to please start the prior authorization process 3 weeks early, before the due date for my refill, when I would be out, because I run out of my 60s on time. I take those religiously. I always have extra 30s because sometimes I don't need my 4th one a day. But anyway, they took a month to the day to get it done. And I had to call and scream. And it was ridiculous. I ran out of my 60 milligrams on Saturday, a week ago tomorrow. And I had to call them Monday, after Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday morning. And I was tired because I was in pain. When my pain level goes up, my body just wants to sleep. Just lay down and sleep. Sleep away the pain, And all I did was just stare vacantly at the TV. I've been making these friendship bracelets and keychains and stuff. But I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to color. I didn't want to read. I didn't want to do anything. I just laid there and vegged. And it took me 3 days to get back into the groove. And that's now. The last couple days I was still sleeping hours and hours at a time. I'd be up for an hour, I'd go to sleep for 2 to 3 hours. I'd be up for 2 hours, I'd sleep for 4 to 5. Now just count that up. That's a lot of sleeping every day. And that's due to the pain. People have to understand my pain. And I want this to go everywhere. I want this to be viral. I want Jeff Sessions to hear this shit. Saying good people don't smoke marijuana. 83% of Americans want cannabis legalized. Not just because they want to use it, but because they realize it is a medicine and it is helpful. Because all of the evidence has come out. Seizure disorders, epilepsy, Dravet's. Boom. We save our children with hemp oil. Legal hemp oil. What do? They class hemp oil up here with cannabis on the schedule of narcotics. It is not a narcotic. We have just an opioid receptor. That's where narcotics hit us. We have cannabinoid receptors everywhere in our bodies. Truth. The human endocannabinoid system. Now, my friend Edie just told me a question, said, about how long pot stays in your system. Well, I've got a little list that I looked up for real quick, and I'll go in and I'll talk about that. But how long, in urinalysis only, hair samples, they can get up to 6 months. Not with me. No hair. And I'm freshly shaved today. But how you use pot depends on how long it's going to stay in your system. But if you're legal, there shouldn't be a problem on it being in your system. And if you drink alcohol and you're at a 0.01 and you sit there and wait till you're at 0.005, you're still freaking drunk. Cannabis, they do in nanograms per liter of your body. And it stays in our system longer. Alcohol, our livers get rid of it. Why? Because it's poison. Alcohol is poison. And Jeff Sessions, that's what you can buy in every corner grocery store, is alcohol. Poison. And you can go to the Dollar General and get mothballs, corn syrup, and 5 or 6 other household ingredients and make plastic explosives. But what do? We ban a plant that has been here since the dawn of plants, okay? And it was here before humans. And it will be here after we're gone if something catastrophic happens. And it stays in our system longer for the express purpose of our bodies requiring it. We have the ECS, and we manufacture our own cannabinoids. Now, we don't manufacture THC, but CBD and other minor cannabinoids, we manufacture those in response to disease or foreign things in the body. So cannabis stays in our systems longer because it's supposed to be there. That's what the endocannabinoid system is for. That's what it's all about. Let me pause. I'll see you inside. And I'm back. Hello, everybody. So I was talking about crafts. I use this little thing, this little braiding wheel. You just move one over here, you move this one over here, you turn the wheel, you do it again, and you make these nice braided cords. I do that, and then I do these keychains. Like, see, this one's done in a spiral. It's a double helix, just like the DNA strand. And it's good. It's a good weapon. Ladies, even men. If you go into your car, keep your keys like this. Somebody jumps out of the shadows, boom, 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 go across the face and eyes with your keys. These things are strong. These things are very tightly woven. In fact, I can only do a couple of them in a few days, and then my fingers hurt from tightening them. But they're super tight, and it won't break, and you can use it for self-defense as well as keys. And then I do a variety of these friendship bracelets, skinny ones, fat ones. And I do coloring. It's my latest masterpiece. Ta-da! I don't know if you can see all the good colors in there, but it's very colorful. I do that because it's relaxing. It's cathartic. Here's my newest. I'm working on this. I'm working on a unicorn. I love coloring with gel pens. They're excellent. So, pain. Pain, 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 pain. It's the backdrop of everything I talk about when I talk about marijuana or painkillers. It's all due to pain. In fact, what's in my eyes now is I have not smoked anything, and this is my first sip of pot tea. Cannabis tea. 3-gallon size bags for $10. Indica or sativa. I thought it's awesome. I bought 12 gallons worth. 12 of them. So for $40, I can use for more than a month, I could be able to make 12 gallons of tea for $40. It's excellent. It's cheaper than what you buy in the Circle K or the convenience stores. So anyway, I'm calling this one marijuana. Chronic pain, the 4 M's, and what's the connection? Well, morphine, marijuana, magnet therapy, mental wellness, mental clarity, mental control, mental self-care. I'm the type of person that would do, if I had to go to prison for something for a long time, I want to be in solitary. Because I'm not sucking nothing. I'm not taking nothing, I'll kill people. I'll do whatever I have to do to go into solitary because I will be fine. I can do so many things in my head at the same time that I can keep myself so busy that the time flies. I mean, I do it all day long when I'm doing my coloring. And I'm doing that at the same time as I'm playing my Sims on my game because I have to keep my Sims doing things and complete quests in a certain time. So I'm doing all these things. Plus I'm writing poetry still. I'm not ready to start putting them in my group yet. But I will be. And pain. It all comes down to pain as a start. And why I use marijuana therapy. And why I'm so pissed off at Jeff Sessions. Okay, he's another Harry Anslinger, the guy that originally prohibited pot. It's just wrong. But just to let everybody know here, think about this. 240 milligrams daily of morphine sulfate, up to 300 milligrams of Seroquel, which is an antipsychotic, but it's a sleep agent for me, as well as that. Amitriptyline, 50 milligrams at bedtime. Helps me sleep with the Seroquel. And I have a Valium. I get 30 pills, and I promise the doctor I'll make them last for 3 months, 90 days. Because the strongest they make are the 10 milligrams. Well, I need to take 3 of those at a time for them to have any effect on my body because of my pains. Which brings me to, why do I need all these drugs, all this opiates, and cannabis? Why? Fibromyalgia. If you don't know what this is, it's worth reading up about. So that when somebody says they have an autoimmune disease, chronic pain syndrome, or fibromyalgia, you can see what they are going through. The basic tests for fibromyalgia are these 18 trigger points around your body that the doctor presses on. And if you go at every pressure point, boom, 16 to 18 points is fibromyalgia. I can press like this all over my body. Everywhere hurts. I am one huge organism of one tender point. It's like I've been beaten with bats over every inch of my body. And that's just the first main disease that I have. This is an autoimmune disease. It's my immune system malfunctioning. And I'm only in the 10th percentile of men who get this. 90% of fibromyalgics are women. Men get it too. My body's abuse as a paratrooper, through the military, 30 years in restaurants working, and then at the same time, I was always working 3 jobs. I'd do construction, convenience store, waiting tables, or I'd be cooking at this, I'd be a manager at a Burger King in this town up north, and I would, on my 2 days off, I would go to this restaurant and cook. I'd cook on the weekends, and I'd work Burger King on the weekdays. And when I started waiting tables, I made bank, and I quit managing. And I went to just waiting tables. I made money because I move. Take care of the customers. Make sure everything's good. Turnover. You get good tips that way, and you make more tips by turning people over. Okay, so I worked myself into this. But you can't really say I'm to blame. It's my body. It's my immune system. So, what's next after fibromyalgia? What's a toss-up? But I'll start with osteoarthritis. I have that everywhere. Osteoarthritis everywhere. Almost every joint I have in my body is in pain. I wear magnet therapy. This here is a small, I put my own dots on because the old valve worn out, but this has got magnets on it. And it goes on the back of my neck. And when my discs are out, it will get hot, like a heating pad on medium. 24/7, except for when I shower. I'm wearing this belt. This belt called Serenity 2000. These are magnets. There's 16 magnets in here. This thing weighs almost 3 pounds. But I don't notice it when I'm wearing it. And it's got 16 of these in. I have these little individual magnets. They're very powerful. And what I do for my headaches, magnets work on headaches. I put my do-rag on, and I slip these up underneath it when I go to bed at night. And it helps. I wake up without my headaches. And this kit I got comes with various size straps that are good for ankles, wrists, elbows, my knees. And then I have these. These are magnetic gloves, soft, stretchy, compression therapy. And over the top of them, I wear copper and zinc compression gloves. So when I go to bed at night, I can't walk past the refrigerator. I stick to it like a magnet. No, joke. But magnets help me. I'm going to keep this on too. So I got fibromyalgia. That's where your muscle fibers themselves hurt. Now, osteoarthritis. Add joints. Add my joints into my muscle pain. And that's not all. That's just 2. Number 3, and one of almost as bad as the fibromyalgia. Almost. And it's definitely worse than the osteoarthritis, which I also have in my spine. But I have degenerative disc disease. Now, all 3 of those, fibro, arthritis, degenerative disc disease, I call them terminal. And I call myself a terminal patient. but not in the sense that I'm just going to die soon, but terminal in the sense that there is no end to these diseases. There is no reversal. All you can do is maintain and try to halt the process. Painkillers and marijuana help, especially the marijuana. The painkillers help the pain. The marijuana goes to our cannabinoid receptors everywhere in our bodies, including our joints and muscles, and it does good things. So, when Jeff Sessions says good people don't smoke marijuana, I want to say bad people talk down about marijuana because they don't know what they're talking about. Every time I've just watched 4 YouTube videos this morning, all about Sessions talking about pot. And it's unbelievable. He cites flawed data. I don't know who's writing his speeches for him, or if he's doing it himself, but he's one of these holier-than-thou people up on their soapbox, and he's been given the soapbox by Trump. Sorry, President, but Jeff Sessions is one of your mistakes. But he's been given this soapbox, and he thinks it makes him God. And he thinks he's talking with the authority of God, that cannabis is bad. Good people don't smoke marijuana. If 83% of Americans want cannabis legalized, whether they use it or not, these are just the supporters, not the users. 50% of the country almost has used in the past or is presently using. So there's an extra 33% of Americans who don't smoke pot, but they realize and they heard the facts and they believe it. And they believe it because it's the truth. And the truth will set you free. Now, my degenerative disc disease. My discs are either degenerating down into soft porous, and then they're being oozed out and pressing on my spinal cord. And, down the discs come out, they press on the spinal cord. Spondylosis. Then there's stenosis, where the nerves come out of your vertebrae, all up and down your body. Okay, I have it written down here just because a lot of numbers. Of 24 discs in the body, 24 discs, at least 14 of mine are in pain. 14 areas from the top of my spine to the top of my crack. Okay, and I have had 3 whiplashes, major, 2 minor, 3 minor concussions, 5 major concussions, over 20 major dislocations, and both my hands have been crushed at least once. And on top of that, if you see all these white scars here, that's from gunshots and knives. And spinal stenosis, where the vertebral foramen let the nerves pass out to the body. They become occluded with bone growths. And there's 12 cervical, 24 thoracic, 10 lumbar, and 10 sacral openings. So of the 33, almost 18 of my foramen are stenotic, have these bone growths that press on the nerves. And when I move, I can feel my individual vertebrae, and I can feel my individual discs. Before I started using a neck pillow in the car, and before I started using the magnet therapy, Debbie, one time we were driving, no radio playing. And she goes, "My God, will you look at that?" Well, I whipped my head, and she heard the crack from 3 feet away. Over the road noise, she heard the crack in my neck. And I was stuck like this for most of the ride. And it took me 2 days to recover from that. So I've learned. I now have this memory foam pillow that goes around my neck. And I have to plaster myself up against the seat and on the dashboard for any quick stops. And I'm always ready for them because, I'm not driving for one thing, so I can see things coming. And I'll tell Deb, stop sign, because we're on a road she doesn't know, and she doesn't see the sign. I'm like, stop sign, and I have to brace myself for the stop, because it will knock my discs out. It's horrendous. Phone's charged. So, fibro, arthritis, degenerative discs, spinal stenosis, chronic spondylosis, PTSD. Why? My secret. Can't tell you. Now, without anything, without any of my pills, I'm in 10-10 pain. That means on the 10 scale, I am a 10. My doctor has seen me there. In fact, I got another show and tell. Hold on. Okay, we're back. So, I was talking about happier days. Let me show you some happier days by the years. Okay, what year we got here? 07, 05, 07. Okay. This is what I used to look like when I did real estate. This is what I looked like when I was cooking. I was either bald with that, or I had long hair, bleached. I thought that's cute. Now my pot cards, I have 4. 5. I've now got my 5th. And I noticed that they even end the numbers in my patient ID number is a long number, alphanumeric, and it's at the end is 2001. The end of this one, same number except 2002. 3, 4. The new card looks very nice. They took away the green. But I really want people to see this. This is me. I don't know if you can tell, but my face is fatter. Okay? And just look at that expression. I was 50 pounds heavier. I was pushing 200 pounds. First time in my life I've ever hit past 160 pounds. Ever. In my whole life, I've been 150, 145 to 155. Right in there. Now I'm almost up to 155, 160. Because I have an appetite. Morphine's supposed to kill your appetite. But no. Pot helps me keep an appetite. So I eat healthily and heartily. So I've got a little spare tire. But this was my first year. Okay? Second year. I have a smile. Can't almost see it because of that. There it is. Yay! There's a smile. I was even smiling for this one. This one, Debbie told me to be serious, and I was giving her like, and then she snapped the picture. And this one I took of myself. I did this with my selfie stick. I wasn't feeling too good when I did it, but I had to get the picture out there. That's my new card. I save all my old ID cards because, It shows me from hippie on up. Does 1, 2, 3, and 4. But I thought that was nice. Now, the reason I showed you those is the first card, at pushing 200 pounds, I was on psych meds, which was venlafaxine, citalopram, Seroquel, and Klonopin. Now, my psychiatrist knew that my doctor was giving me OxyContin, and my doctor knew that the psychiatrist was giving me all those. So they knew what I was taking. And the psychiatrist was telling me to take more and more pills. And I had this personality change that I did not notice. So I was also saying, well, I still feel this, so she'd throw more pills at me. In fact, I never paid a copay on my pills. She always had samples that would get me through. But for almost 18 months, I was on OxyContin and psych meds together. From late 2011 or early 2012 to late 2013. Okay, October 2013, driving to the doctor's to quit the psych meds, go on morphine, and get marijuana. Just as soon as I got off the interstate, I'm almost there, 3/4 of the way to the office. I got off the interstate. Boom! I thought I was having a stroke. My head was just not even pounding. It just felt like it was getting ready to explode. And I was going through. They had traffic changes, with the orange and white barriers to make the traffic go this way because they were resurfacing the road. So they run you over here to this side and back. Well, I was down here looking at my radio for some reason. I kept falling over. I still had a hand on the wheel. I kept the truck going straight. But the problem is that the road wasn't straight. Normally it would be. But boom, my brain just was killing me. And so I knocked over a whole bunch of these barriers. And I did my court time. Everything's cleared. But all those medications made me gain all that weight, changed my personality. So that card with my bushy beard and all chunked out was at the end of 18 months of all those pills, especially Klonopin, venlafaxine, and OxyContin. The doctors still, that picture was taken when I started the process. I was 4 days clean off of everything. That's 10-10 pain. That face is a 10-10 pain face. Okay? I looks like I could just kill. Just say the wrong thing to me and I'll just want to kill you. That's pain. I mean, and like I told you, it's every inch of my body feels beaten by baseball bats. My discs, bone on bone in my vertebrae, or the discs pushing on my spinal cord, and just bones slipping out of joint. Chiropractors ruined me because they didn't do x-rays. They didn't see what was happening with my discs. So when they were sometimes adjusting me and twisting my body and putting things in, they were putting things in wrong. I'd have a disc out this way, it was coming out this way. Well, they'd twist me around, and next thing you know, my disc's turning and pressing on the spine, pressing on things. I started to be just a chiropractor, just one day of physical therapy. The physical therapist had doctor's order from a doctor. I was my 4th doctor before my new doctor, who I've had for 6 years now. We've got a 6-year relationship. And he trusts me because I was open and honest with him about my drug use history. From childhood, through the Army, through all the years hence. And he still saw fit to trust me with morphine and pot. He was of the mind that pot would work like narcotics because it was on the schedule of narcotics. And that is what I have been saying in all my videos. It's not. It's only on the schedule of narcotics because the pharmaceutical industry wants it there. They want their pills pushed. And you've all heard my take on that. The FDA takes Big Pharma's word for it that clinical trials have been done in a long enough period of time that these drugs are safe. The FDA puts it on the market. Within 1 year, these things are killing people. Some cancer drugs are creating permanently bald people. Invokana and Invocamet, these new glutides that are supposed to balance your A1C levels, but you're still supposed to take your insulin with it. Nobody needs their A1C levels watched that closely. The only reason they're telling us it is because the pill does that. They're making it important so that they can make a buck. And after a year, these drugs are being pulled off the market, which means the clinical trials of up to a year of human studies has not been done. Or else they would have known all this shit would happen. Now, when you get something, you got psoriasis. You got dry, itchy, scaly skin. The drug gives you tuberculosis, infections, or increased risk of infections, stroke, paralysis, allergic reactions, including swelling of the neck, lips, tongue, and sinuses, cancer, and death, and diabetic coma from some drugs that aren't even for diabetics. Diabetic coma is one of the side effects. Tell me that that's not freaking-sane. Everything I'm taking has been tried and true, long term. And everybody's on this opioid epidemic crap. It's not. There is a problem with doctors scribing it without really checking out the patient. They're just, okay, here you go. Because doctor visits are like 15 to 20 minutes. Once they come in the room, the clock is running. They'll leave you in there for an hour. But when they come in, you got 10 to 20 minutes to get all this information across. Okay? Back in 13 with that face of mine on the first pot card, I was huddled in a corner in the doctor's office under 4 blankets, shivering my ass off and sweating at the same time. And my wife had to do all the talking. I knew nothing. Well, I didn't remember the picture. I don't remember getting the picture taken for the pot card. Okay? That's how bad off I was. Morphine sulfate with marijuana has been, I'm an atheist, but I still use the terms, a godsend. You know, well, chariots of the gods. I'm into aliens, that stuff. You know, I think we are from aliens and star stuff. But anyway, so a godsend of morphine and marijuana. My doctor hoped that I would be able to get off the morphine, but we both learned. But we're also learning, because I'm teaching him at every visit, I'm telling him something new, like I've been telling all of you guys. I ask him to watch my videos, but he never has time. I mean, he's a very busy doctor. He's got a lot of patients. And my wife was the last patient he took. That was a cutoff. He's got that many patients because he's that good. He's empathic. Okay? He felt my pain. He saw me and he saw my pain. He saw the pain in my eyes. And he knew this man needs to stay on opiates. And the top sports doctor in Phoenix for all the Arizona sports teams told me, do not let anybody do surgery on your back. Run fast, run far. Because I'll become totally disabled. And my wife will have to either hire somebody to take care of me or quit her job so take care of me. So, I sit and suffer because I'm not going to do that to her. So, anyway, when I'm talking about 10-10 pain, morphine brings me down. It drops me 3 to 4 points, down to a 6 or a 7, which are still considered intolerable. It's like a very bad toothache with a migraine, and like you just stubbed all your toes on the coffee table, hard. Just imagine all that pain. That's what my morphine brings me to. By the time my morphine is used up, I'm still not at 0. So I never feel the euphoria. I don't feel the buzz. Okay? And that's what that's what addicts take it for. Okay? So if I'm not feeling a buzz, why am I still taking it? And I'll tell you, I've got a list of all the common side effects, uncommon side effects, and rare side effects to morphine sulfate. And I don't have a one of them. Not one. I'll get there soon here. But magnets are almost helping me out from a half point to a point. Marijuana can drop me another 1.5 to 3 points. So I get down to a 3. That's my bottom. I cannot get farther. I cannot smoke more marijuana. I don't take too much extra morphine. And I have to live that way. That's why I do my therapy of braiding these bracelets, coloring, writing, researching videos, doing the videos, Unsolved Mysteries, Law & Order Special Victims Unit all day, and now we've got Netflix too. Yay! I'm at the end of a dead-end road with nothing but a dog and a cat that sleep all day. The dog is not really up and running until MOMMY comes home. Can't say the word. Or CARRIDE or POOPTREATS. Sends her off into a frenzy. She just gotta have it. Give me it now. And is home. Gotta be careful. But, so anyway, I was a paratrooper. If anybody out there has ever been a paratrooper, you know what it's like to land at 32 feet per second. You're like a sack of shit. Okay? We have a specific landing fall. You got, oh my God, seven points of contact, balls of the feet, calf, thigh, hip, and you're supposed to roll down that way and bend, and then flip over, rotating over on a shoulder. Doesn't always happen that way, especially when you got a drop zone that's got deep runnels and little dry washes running through it. You hit the side of one of those things, you don't fall right. You just put a big dent in the dirt. Well, I've dislocated things, and from parachute jumping is fine. Landing, that's what gets you. And my knees, ankles, hips, sacroiliac, lumbar, thoracic, shoulders, neck, skull, ribs. I've had a break almost everywhere in my body. In 90% of my bones broken. Some multiple bones in different areas of the body all at once. Almost lost half of one foot and all of the toes on the other foot to frostbite in 1985 when I was up in the Arctic winter. But so what I was saying on the pain scale is when I come down to a 3, that's it. I'm still in pain. That's why I don't feel the pop. It helps make me drowsy. It helps me sleep. And it drops the pain. But only to a point. And the same as with the morphine. Is it's gone. My body uses it up. Okay, it's like a gas tank. Only my empty mark, I never hit empty. I'm not empty of pain. Morphine, marijuana, and magnets. And here I am. Number 3. Which is like an average toothache all over your head. And it's hard to describe. Look up the comparative pain scale and read 3 to 7. Read those. Read those descriptions. And you'll see. So, if you add all of these up and try to tell me that I'm a junkie and tell me that I have these things, I don't. Here's the common side effects of morphine. Abnormally low blood pressure. No. I take my blood pressure on my phone. My phone has an accurate blood pressure monitor called iCare Health Monitor. Well, I'll put my thumb, I got my finger over the back, I hit the quick check, boom, and it starts reading. And it gives me, the one in the middle is blood viscosity, the bottom 2 numbers is blood pressure, the one on the left side of the screen is specific oxygen, and heart rate is on the other side. But I just wait till it adds itself up. I don't need to do it. Right. My blood pressure stays right in line. I have no problems with it. You cannot sit there and say, well, morphine's going to do this to you. Because it's not. It's not doing it. And I'm going on my 5th year of morphine. Just, morphine and pot together. So, October 20th is the anniversary date of my 4 years now, starting the 5th. So, morphine sulfate, abnormally low blood pressure. No, my blood pressure is right where it's supposed to be. It stays right in the middle. Constipation. OxyContin, yes. Morphine, no. I have regular constipation that I've had all my life, depending on what I eat. If I eat too much potatoes and bread 1 week, I have little problems. But I fix it with the Dulcolax, it's clear. Everything's done. Everything's fine. Dizziness, drowsiness, excessive sweating, feeling like throwing up, feeling faint, oh my, inducing a relaxed, easy state. No, I'm never fully relaxed and easy. I'm always in pain. Actually vomiting instead of feeling like vomiting. And let's see, these were all the problems I had on OxyContin and the psych meds. And since marijuana, none of them. Infrequent side effects of morphine. Larynx spasms, bronchospasms, change in pulse rate, collapsed parts of the lungs, tachycardia, fast heart rate, hives, regular or heavy. Skin inflammation, like allergic response. Involuntary muscle movements. Now let's see. Without morphine sulfate, I actually have the involuntary muscle movements from my muscles hurting. They jump. I do that shit all the time. Okay, involuntarily. Now, itching, rash, bradycardia, slow heart rate, trouble breathing, swollen vocal cords, blurred vision, double vision, dry mouth, feeling weak. With my fibro and pain, yes, but not with the morphine. Fluid retention, especially of the arms, legs, hands, and feet. Head pain, irritation of the stomach and intestines. Kidney problems causing a decrease in urine output. Loss of appetite and weight along with it. Nervousness, just not feeling well, spasms of your bile duct tract, and ureteral spasms, your urethra spasms, and you pee yourself. I have none of these. Without the morphine, I have them. And they're a symptom of the pain. I've even got the rare down here. It's things like abnormal liver function, anemia, bowel blockage, can't empty your bladder. Trust me, I do. Coma, no. Stoppage of the heart, no. Confused, no. None of this is true. Me and morphine, we're fine. And cannabis is why. And that is why I have become such an activist. In fact, I'm trying to contact my Tucson Weekly guy here that does the Tucson Weekly comes out every Thursday. A guy named Nick Myers. I hope I see you, Nick. I want to see if he'll tell my story. Then I can get a bunch of people in Tucson and send them to Botanica, my dispensary. Because some dispensaries give you buds in a bottle and they weigh it out. They open up the jar and they take these buds out and they weigh it. And then they stick it in these. And they don't even seal it with this seal. They put it on here. This is not airtight. This is. Okay? And what I do is I put the name on these and the effects. Because I've got White Lightning, Indica Dominant, Relaxed, Happy, Uplifted, Talkative, and Euphoria. Then I've got some, it's called 1024. It's a Sativa Dominant, Uplifting, Relaxing, Energetic, Creative, and Euphoria. I put that right on the bottle. And then there's ones like Cataract Kush. I don't need to put on the bottle what it is. And this stuff here is purple, platinum purple. Oh my God. Talk about knocking it into the dirt. And I even rolled my blunt separate. Sativas, indicas. If you see the writing on some of the filters, see the writing there? That's the initials for the strain. So I know what strain I'm picking out. Rick Simpson oil. This highly concentrated oil cures cancer. You have to do up to 1 full gram a day at the end of 90 days. You slowly build up from a little grain of rice once a day to more and more until you're doing 1 gram syringe like this per day. And it'll cure your cancer. And it's tens of thousands of dollars cheaper than chemo and radiation. Tens of thousands of dollars cheaper. A 90-day supply of Rick Simpson oil shouldn't cost you more than $1,800. In 90 days, 3 months, cancer gone, cured. Not remission, cured. So, I also get treats, lemon drops. They work good. I got cherry too. Pumpkin dog biscuits. Pumpkin made out of pumpkin and hemp. Dog biscuits. When she gets her POOPTREATs at night, we give her one of those. We break it up in little pieces for her. And we give her this, her meat treat, then a blueberry flavored treat she loves, and then the hemp. And she's loving it. She's 14 years old. She acts like a puppy. She runs around like a puppy. She's a whirling. She's like me. This is what my dispensary does. Botanica Nation. They give you the name on here. This is hermetically sealed with the tear off. Then you've got a Ziploc closure. And in the gram sizes, you can barely see it. See that little brown bag in there? That's a humidity thing. It's got liquid in it. And it keeps a steady 62% humidity, which keeps the buds viable. They do that for the quarters. The 1/8 ounces they don't, but some of these, if you could just feel this, it's hard, super, super hard, which means it's going to fluff out into a lot of weed. The same with this one. Deep purple, headband, pineapple chunk. All tasty as hell. The tea is good by itself, but I actually add chai spice and some whatever other herb tea I might pick. Like this batch has got mango chamomile. So I'm getting the relax of the mango chamomile. Plus I'm getting the relief afforded me by the THC in the pot. I've also told you all about the topical. So this is made with 1/8 of medical cannabis. It's a pain relief ointment. It smells pretty good. It's got all natural ingredients. Olive oil, avocado oil, almond oil, hemp oil, shea butter, cocoa butter, beeswax, cucumber melon essence, eucalyptus oil, vitamin E, aloe vera, and cannabis. And I put it on this muscle that's been in a permanent cramp for years, and it's one of the only things that kills the pain. And I've started this. It's a THC tincture. They also come in a sativa with 100 of CBD. This is a very thick, gooey stuff. But I like it. I hold it under my tongue a little bit. And I can even talk through it. So, I'm hitting 1 hour here. Not too bad. So, let me talk about Jeff Sessions. This guy is... He does not speak with... He speaketh with forked tongue, as the Native Americans said. Or if they really said that, or if it's just some racist crap, I don't know. He said, I reject the idea that America will be a better place if marijuana is sold in every corner grocery store. For one thing, pot is never going to be sold in every corner grocery store unless it's a decade or more down the line. It's always going to be an illegally licensed dispensary where you cannot enter unless you're an infant in a stroller or a baby being carried by mom because she has no babysitter, but she's got to get her buds to go home with. No children can get into a dispensary otherwise. Toddlers and that, they do not want them there. Not because of getting pot, but the dangers and inherent of, okay, the children should not be there. So, Mr. Sessions, what is being sold in every corner grocery store is alcohol. which leads to domestic violence, homicides, suicides by people drinking themselves to death. I don't know if they do it on purpose. Some people probably do. They just drink and drink and drink until they're gone. Okay? And he said, and I am astonished to hear people suggest that we can solve our heroin crisis by legalizing marijuana. We don't have a heroin crisis. This is not the 70s. The opiate epidemic that the CDC kind of says doesn't really exist is from bad doctors and scam artists for patients. People that pretend to be like I am. But if you do a full MRI on them, you'll see that they're lying. You'll find that they're, and you'll be able to catch them. Go hide around the corner, get a surveillance van, and watch these people pushing their lawnmower and after they said that they can't ever walk straight because of their pain or something. That's what these people are doing to get opiates. And it's what some people are doing to get marijuana. Okay? They figure that there's 5 to 10% of the card holders in Arizona have lied their way in. I haven't. I have the medical proof. So, astonished to hear people suggest we can solve the heroin crisis by legalizing weed. We can, and it's a fact, because the whole point of my 4 M's here, especially marijuana and morphine together, is that morphine puts a monkey on your back. Add cannabis, no monkey. My wife has had to remind me to take my morphine scripts. Reminds me. Because I'm sitting there and maybe playing a Sudoku game, and I try to play as fast as I can, and I try to make my better time. I'm about a 2:13 on the easy puzzles, but I'm just out of it. And then we start watching a show, and I'm like, God, I hurt. Debbie goes, "Have you taken your morphine?" No, I haven't. This is a 30 milligram time release. This is a 60 milligram immediate release. This is a 60 milligram time release. It's half the size, but double the potency. And each of the Seroquels, I'll pop anywhere from a half to 1 a day. And sometimes I'll throw in a Valium or 2. I got my my night pills is a morphine, a Seroquel, and amitriptyline. And I don't always need the morphine. So, you can't tell me that morphine, heroin is a problem that marijuana can't fix. Because it is. And I'm living proof. I had that 18 months of psych meds with OxyContin. And I was drinking. I had a personality change. I knew I'm just fine. I wasn't. And I didn't realize that until I got the morphine and marijuana. And I became an activist. Within a year, I was back on Facebook. After many years off, I didn't want to talk to anybody. Friends from high school and all that back. I'm sorry. I took that time away because I was in so much pain, and I was trying to get a doctor who would believe me. And I went through 5. Number 5 was the winner. And luckily I got in under the wire with Debbie, because she sees him too. But she goes on her own because she has to run home and pick me up and to take me to the appointment. But we have our next appointment scheduled for while she's on vacation at Christmas and holiday season. But anyway, Jeff Sessions. He said people are trading one dependency for another that's slightly less awful. So he's saying that cannabis is only slightly less awful than morphine or heroin. He is either lying or misinformed. And nobody's fact checking him. And he's making an ass of himself. And if you're watching this, Mr. Sessions, you are. You're making an ass of yourself. Because it's all going to come out that everything you say is a lie. The facts are that in states that have legalized at least medical, opiate deaths dropped by 25%. Opiate prescriptions dropped by almost 40%. Listen to the numbers, people. Those don't lie. Okay? Numbers don't lie. Almost as bad as heroin. The Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House thereafter had two enemies, the anti-war left and black people. And it says, we knew we couldn't make it illegal to be against either the war or black, but by getting the public to associate hippies with marijuana and black folks with heroin, and then criminalizing them heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them every night on the evening news. And did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. Do you know who said this? Counsel and Assistant to President Nixon for Domestic Affairs, John Ehrlichman. That's who said that. So, hippies associated with marijuana and black people were racially profiled as heroin addicts, and they hid. Nixon administration also did the research on marijuana and found out that it cured cancer. And they put a patent on it, number 6630507. Google it, patent number 6630507. The government's patent on cannabis, as in doing things that it says it doesn't do because it's on the Schedule 1 narcotics. Lies, covering lies, covering lies. If the government would just follow the old adage of, if you tell the truth, you won't have to remember anything. But all the government's doing is lying. And Jeff Sessions, all he's doing is lying. And they vilify these stories that say, marijuana ruined my sister's life because she went on to heroin. I have said before, addiction is in the heart and mind of the addict. I'm an alcoholic. Tried and true. Drank for many years. My dad started me young. Weak rum and cokes playing the pinball machine while he sat there and got plastered. And at the age of 10, I was driving him home in a big 68 Chevelle. Sitting all the way up front on the seat so I could reach the pedals. His drunk ass puking on the floor out the window. I drove home. All across one side of Syracuse to the other, to my Jamesville DeWitt area. So, I have no need, I have no want to drink. We have liquor in the cabinet. If I go through a bad flare, Debbie tells me to take a little shot. And I'll take a little shot of Jaeger or tequila. That's it. That one shot. Boom. It calms my pains. And it eases things. And that's it. I don't need any more. So I don't drink like I used to. I'm a beer person. I love my beer. 6 big oil cans of Foster's every night. And I'd go to work and run circles around these 20-year-olds, less more than half my age, less than half my age, and they couldn't drink a six-pack the night before without coming and going, I feel terrible. I watched a movie, I drank a six-pack. What? I drank a six-pack of Foster's, which equals out to about an 18-pack. It's like, get real. That's a professional alcoholic talking. But I'm under control. Once a year, we go to the special Zen Burger. Great burgers. I'll have a beer. I'm sure my doctor will be okay with it. Because that's it. And I don't even finish the beer. Because that burgers are filling there, let me tell you. So, John Ehrlichman said that. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. And let me see. This drug is dangerous. It's not funny. You can't play with it. It is not something to laugh about. Trying to send that message with clarity that good people don't smoke marijuana. You know what? 50% of Pew Research used pot. And included in the list of these people who used pot regularly, politicians, doctors, scientists, current and past presidents, countless artists and entrepreneurs, Carl Sagan, Albert Einstein, Obama, Clinton, W. Bush, millions of regular cannabis patients, and millions of other regular Americans. And no sane, nice person should say what Sessions said. He's a racist, a bigot, and a holier-than-thou doomsayer who's been given a soapbox with which to interdict what I have proof of everything being just the opposite of what he says. Jeff Sessions, your ignorant statements are saying that 83% of Americans from the ages of 10 to 90 years old use cannabis and hemp for painful and seizure disorders, anxiety, stress, depression, weight loss, and most importantly, chronic, severe, acute, intractable pain and cancer. What else did I write down here? I get adamant. I get very adamant when it comes to this subject because the more I learn about cannabis, the more the brighter the light being shined on it. I'm in the spotlight. Our livers painstakingly rid the body of alcohol within 24 hours or less. Cannabis can stay in a urolithus for one-time use 5 to 8 days. 2 to 4 times per week, 11 to 18 days. 2 to 4 times per month, 23 to 35 days. 5 to 6 times per week, 33 to 48 days. And if you're a daily user like me, 49 to 63 days. That's 2 months. And they can always take a hair sample. Even from here, they could take some of my hairs and find cannabis in it. In fact, from root tip to the tip of my little thinker here is got cannabinoid markers in it because I've had this thing for years. So, why is this? It's because our bodies don't recognize alcohol as a good thing. It is a poison. That's when we get drunk, vomit, and have hangovers. Cannabis, no inebriation. You're not inebriated. You don't puke. If you add weed to alcohol, let me tell you something. Especially if you're drinking first and then you smoke weed, it makes the sense of balance go off and you'll barf. Trust me, I learned the hard way. Several times. Like marriages, I'm on my 4th. It took me all those times to get it right. But no puking, no hangovers, and no regrets. Okay? People that smoke weed at night get up and come into work the next morning bouncy and happy. And if they've got this with them, that they can self-medicate without putting out a cloud of smoke and without harming anybody around them, they can utilize this potent, safe, non-addictive painkiller, anxiety, antidepressant, so much. Cannabis stays in our bodies because we naturally produce cannabinoids. They're supposed to be in our bodies. Moms who have never smoked weed, never touched it, probably never smelled it in their life, produce cannabinoids in her breast milk when breastfeeding or when pregnant. Your breast milk contains cannabinoids. This is to keep the baby hungry and calm. Learn something new every day. Remember that. Mom sends signals from her endocannabinoid system to the babies pre-fetus. When you're still in the somewhere between 2 and 1,000 cells in that little space of time, because everything doubles. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. It's like gigabytes and megabytes, 124, 248, 516, on and on and on. Binary system. But that's the way it works. But these cannabinoids are naturally in our bodies, naturally produced. And the addition of more does good, not harm. There is no link to lung cancer from pot. And I've told people before, on my list of diseases, I used to have bronchitis, asthma, and COPD. Smoking weed fixed me. Now I have a trace bit of emphysema, but it's fading. It could have been there for years. Pot is fixing it. So, I'm on my 5th year now, starting, what is today? Is today the 20th? Yes, it is. This is my 5th year anniversary. Happy birthday to me. I've got pot to smoke. So, I've told you all about pain, my pains. Okay? So when somebody tells you they have an autoimmune disease, fibromyalgia, degenerative disc disease, osteoarthritis, and a combination of things like those, think and tell them, how do you feel about marijuana? And if they go, oh, I don't like it, it's the devil's weed, no. Genesis 1:29. If God really said this, verily I give to you every seed, nut, fruit-bearing plant, and this shall be as food to you, and medicine. Because frankincense and myrrh are medicines. Okay? They're just not smelling good. They don't, that's not all they're about. When Jesus had his feet bathed in oil by Mary Magdalene, it was probably hemp oil. I talked to you about it before. Is that in the Middle East, papyrus grows near swamp, stagnant water. Okay? So how could the entire Middle East be using papyrus to write things on? No, hemp. They had hemp. And they had marijuana, the cannabis, pot to hemp. It's the Cannabaceae family of hemp and cannabis, or hemp and marijuana. Marijuana is a slang term, though. Try to get to cannabis. Cannabis is non-bigoted, non-racist. But these plants have been here forever. They've been in the food chain. And it wasn't until after 1937, when they banned this, that we saw an upsurge in cancers, and autoimmune diseases. Coincidence? Yeah, I'd say so. During the Prohibition years, more people drank heavier because it was prohibited. And Prohibition actually killed a lot of people with alcohol. Because they, oh, well, I'll drink as much as I want because, I can get it, cheap over the border Canadian whiskey, shit like that. People drink themselves to death. You cannot smoke yourself to death with pot. You would have to smoke a telephone pole-sized joint, 1,500 pounds, in 15 minutes. If you can do that, you're like Andre the Giant mixed with Tommy Chong. But you can't overdose on pot. Hemp is non-psychoactive and non-addictive, and it should not be classed anywhere on the schedule of narcotics. It shouldn't be there. Neither should pot, the other half of the Cannabaceae family. They need to be removed from the Controlled Substances Act because they just don't belong there. They do more good for our bodies than anything pharmaceutical industry pushes on us today. Hemp biodiesel is 10 times less toxic than table salt. Yes, fact. You can taste hemp biofuel. You can't do that with gasoline. It burns all the way down, and if you puke, it burns all the way up and damages you. Hemp? No problem. Ethanol or methanol. It's safe. And it emits oxygen. Not smut and pollutants. Okay? What we're releasing up out in the air is a vaporized form of dinosaurs. Okay? That's what it is. It was biologic vertebrate life that creates oil fields. Okay? So what we're running in our cars is dinosaurs. Hemp is the safe solution. Okay? It breathes 4 times the oxygen of trees, acre to acre. It is quickly replenishable. It does not need to be, you don't need to replenish the ground because whatever falls on the ground is fertilizer for the next crop. Cotton, you can only get 2 crops off of a field. Then you have to plant something else for 2 cycles before you can plant cotton again because it kills the soil. And not only that, cotton accounts for 1/4 of all the pesticide use in the world. And cotton only grows between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Cannabis and hemp grows everywhere. All of North America, all of South America, all the way down to the base of South America. If you had a greenhouse in the Arctic, okay, when you get your long summers, you breed in the greenhouse. You can grow hemp and cannabis anywhere. If you got the right equipment. And if you're in places like Washington, New York, nice fertile land places, cast the seeds to the wind. You will see them just come up. And it's a good thing, Mr. Sessions. And good people deserve the right to choose cannabis as a medicine. We have medicines that we have to hide behind the pharmacy desk because people make meth out of them, okay? And other kinds of drugs. And kids mix anything up and take anything. I used to. When I was a kid, one kid came up to me and said, "Hey, dude, try these." And there's like 5 different colored pills there. And I go, "What are they?" He goes, "Just take them, man. You'll love it." I did. Don't remember most of that day, but I went from class to class and took notes. Don't remember them. The notes, though, were there, so I at least got those right. But I used to take anything, and kids will still do that. As we relinquish the prohibition by the states, each and every state that legalizes at least medical sees a decrease in teen use. Full recreational sees an even higher decrease in teen use and preteen use. Because people from 18 and up can now buy it. It's no longer taboo. And if it's not taboo, what's the fun? Okay? We used to throw parties and drink. Yeah. It's fun. Why? Because we're not supposed to drink. Even if you get pukey, everybody laughs and goes, "Ah, he's all drunk. He's pukey." But marijuana never let me down my whole life. I never liked classes in the first place, but I was actually able to tolerate sitting in the classes and hearing wah, 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 wah. Okay? I read my textbooks. That's where I learned. In fact, I learned the whole textbook where they only taught you a third of it in parts and pieces. Look at the syllabus at the beginning of the year and say, it's a 600-page book and you're only going to read 200 pages? Huh? So I'd read all of it. And I posted IQs. Marijuana regrows brain cells, protects brain cells, reverses Alzheimer's. And when it reverses Alzheimer's, it helps people regain memory and the ability to learn and store new memory and recall it. My IQ is up to 167. It's getting up there, okay? But I'd have to start studying physics and real astrophysics and regular physics, applied physics, looking for the Higgs boson. I'd have to do all that to go higher on my IQ. And I could, but I'm happy now. Just kick back here. I make my bracelets, my keychains, I smoke my weed. I make these videos because people need to know. And I want the word spread. Share this video. Share all my videos. You find this one, you'll find the rest of them on YouTube. They're all titled Marijuana, with a secondary title that denotes basically what that video is about. So what's my time here? Oh, I still got power. Okay, hour and a half. I've gone up to 2 hours before. Do something really quick. Hold on. Okay, here I am again. This here is from 9/20, September 20th. Jeff Sessions in Forbes.com. The nation's top law enforcer is continuing to speak out against marijuana legalization. Quote, "I've never felt that we should legalize marijuana. It doesn't strike me that the country would be better if it's being sold on every street corner. And we do know that legalization results in greater use. Flawed data. Those are lies. And while not giving a clear answer about the enforcement of federal prohibition laws in states that have changed their cannabis policies, Sessions, a longtime legalization opponent, said federal law remains in effect." Well, last week it says, 9/20, 9/13, Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein made a fairly ominous comments about marijuana policy reform, adding that the Trump administration is still deciding whether or not to reverse the Obama-era guidance that generally allows states to legalize without federal interference. Under this so-called Cole memo, named for the former Obama Justice Department official that authored it in 2013, federal government set out certain criteria that, if followed, would allow states to implement their own laws mostly without intervention. And under the 10th Amendment of the Constitution, we can. We don't need a Cole memo. The 10th Amendment is there. That's what the lawyers for pro-marijuana need to focus on, the 10th Amendment. The states have the right to enact their own laws, regardless of federal law, because it's not in the Constitution. In fact, the Constitution was written on hemp. So, to allow those criteria concerning areas like youth use, impaired driving, and interstate trafficking. Now, on the campaign trail last year, then candidate Trump repeatedly pledged to respect state marijuana laws. But in April, Sessions directed a Justice Department task force to review the Obama administration Cole memo and make recommendations for possible changes. However, that panel did not provide Sessions with any ammunition to support a crackdown on states, according to the Associated Press, which reviewed excerpts of the task force's report to the Attorney General. Sessions' new comments came in response to a reporter's question following a San Diego press conference about large-scale Coast Guard seizures of cocaine and heroin. In contrast to the Attorney General's claims about marijuana use rates after Prohibition has ended, a study released a week ago concluded that state legalization does not lead to greater cannabis consumption. That's it. Now let's see. There was something here. John Hickenlooper. I've heard that name. Attorney General Sessions sent letters to the governors of Alaska, Colorado, Oregon, and Washington questioning their marijuana policies. Colorado's cannabis industry has been holding its collective breath ever since Trump nominated Sessions for AG, and since he was sworn in, Sessions, a proponent of the war on drugs, hasn't been shy about saying that marijuana should remain illegal federally. In a proactive move, on April 3rd, the governors of 4 states with recreational cannabis businesses up and running at the time, Alaska, Colorado, Oregon, and Washington, sent a letter to Sessions and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin urging that federal officials engage with us before embarking on any changes to regulatory and enforcement systems. In other words, don't start cracking down on this shit until you have talked to the people who have these things in place and the people that know the legalities and understand that cannabis is not a narcotic-like drug. It is a naturally occurring in our bodies. Okay? That alone should tell us. Okay, when we get a cold or a virus, that's something from outside coming in and screwing us up. And as we take in a cold or a flu virus, our bodies change it. So that when we pass it on, it's a new version of what you get is changed when you put it out and somebody else gets it from you. Now, that's biology. Now, they are using plant and animal DNA, recombinant DNA from plants and animals in all of these new biologic drugs. And that's where we see diabetic coma for people who aren't diabetic, death, allergic reactions, injection site, tuberculosis, cancers. All these new biologics are being introduced into our bodies, and they affect our DNA. And they don't know the long-term effects. Like I said, 1 year on the market, and Invokana is already under a lawsuit because of diabetics needing more amputations than usual. Why? Because this drug for balancing your A1C levels, which nobody gave a shit about 30 freaking years ago, now they say, well, this helps your A1C levels. They didn't need help in the first freaking place. Diabetics do just fine on insulin. And type 1 does just fine on diet. I'm a low blood sugar. I love my chocolate and candy. It picks me up. I remember one time I was driving from way north of here, visit my parents on the south side of town a long time ago. Just got off the interstate. I was with my wife, and I said, zoom. I turned into Jack in the Box really quick. And she goes, what are you doing? We're supposed to turn over there. I need French fries. I just bought a little small, 59-cent at the time, bag of French fries. Because my lips turned white. I turned white, pale. I was shaky. I felt like passing out. I was sweating. Low blood sugar. Boom. Half that bag of fries. And I was perfect. So, I'm type 1 diabetic. That's the easy kind. I'm diet, and exercise as much as I can. But, so anyway, we need to let the government know. I want my videos shared all the way to the White House. Okay? I want President Trump to hear me and see me and listen. Listen to the voice of reason. Okay? Pot makes me cough. But it's the best way for me to get quick relief of headaches and pain. I have to smoke the bud. It makes me cough. I go out and smoke a cigarette, which I'm going to do and close the video out there. But all my other forms of pot are what really keeps me going. And I don't get high. Like I said, I don't get high off the morphine. I don't get high off of pot. All my Seroquel does is it makes me feel drowsy. And I guess it has antipsychotic properties. Noise. Because that's what I take it for, is antipsychotic. And I don't get psychotic, so we're going to have a cigarette here and close out this video like I like to start them. Just talking one-on-one. If you're watching this, and if you made it this far, yay! Thank you! Good for you. Share this video. Send it to your states. Send it to lawyers. Send it to the president. I want my voice heard. So I'm trying to get a hold of the Tucson Weekly guy. Have him tell my story of what it means to be a chronic pain patient and on opiates and cannabis. Because I am the foremost authority, because I feel it. I know what I feel. I know what happens. I feel what happens in my body. And I know biochemistry, and I studied health, the human body. I know a lot. Okay? More than pre-med. Okay? Hell, if I had the time and money, I could go and be a doctor. And didn't have the pain also. I'd be house. But the Justice Department needs to get off its high horse, and people need to listen to the scientists, the artists. Okay, they say marijuana is a gateway drug. Willie Nelson's been smoking it for 60 years. 50 or 60 years of pot smoking. He's still alive, he's still writing music, he's still performing, and he hasn't done heroin and crack. Okay? Because he doesn't need to. He's got his pot. Tommy Chong was helping people out by selling bongs. Mail order. Went to jail. But he came out with a vengeance. And when he got cancer, he cured himself. Twice. I can't remember the first cancer. Might have been pancreatic, early stages. But his second cancer was prostate. And he used CBD suppositories. And CBD is non-psychoactive, so he's sticking this stuff up his butt every day, and he cured himself of prostate cancer. He is still 99.9999% cancer-free. And he continues with hemp as well as pot, because the pot makes him feel good. And he's getting old. Him and Chong are what, 70-something? So you get old, and the elderly, they show pictures all the time, videos even, of these old ladies sitting there passing a bong for the first time. They're all trying weed for the first time, and all like, wow, this is nice. Where's the harm in it? That's what it shows. Where's the harm? These octogenarian 60 to 80-year-old women and men smoking weed and going, what's the big freaking deal? There is no big deal except for what people like Jeff Sessions make up. Okay? And they shouldn't be doing this. And it's very, very vital and important that we put the word out. So that's why I tell my story. And that's why I'm honest and truthful, and I tell you my facts, okay, on what my body does and how my body reacts to my medications. And cannabis is a medication. It is a plant-based medicine. Okay, they used the inner bark off of cherry trees for coughs and colds back in the old days, before the hammer and the wheel were invented. Okay, everybody lived off the land, and they learned medicine from plants. Okay, not rhino horn nowadays to get your dick hard. Not that bullshit. They needed stuff to survive on. So they made teas, willow bark, cherry bark. Cherry bark is a cough suppressant and an expectorant. Willow bark is relaxing and it puts you to sleep. Chamomile, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Parsley, sage, rosemary, you know. Plants have been medicines before Big Pharma came along. And before Big Pharma started putting these things together from DNA, from plants and animals, that they say, ask your doctor for. If you need the drug, your doctor will know this. Why are they pushing it on TV? They're pandering to the hypochondriac population. So you folks out there that listen to these things and you're on insulin and they say Invokana will help balance your A1C levels, before you go asking your doctor for that shit, listen to the side effects. Google it. Okay? They make those little tiny writing all folded up in the bottle with it, right? And it unfolds 30 times. And there's all this tiny printing. You need a magnifying glass to read it. Okay? I got bifocals. I can get it right up here and I can read it. They don't want people reading that. It's fucking boring. Sorry, excuse my language. But that's just it. They make it so boring and so technical that people don't read the whole thing. Just skip right to signs and symptoms of overdose and adverse drug reactions and side effects. Look at those. Google them so you don't have to find it in that little pamphlet. Google the drug. Google the symptoms of what you've got. That's what I did. I knew pot would have helped me before the doctor recommended it, but I wasn't going to ask for it. And I didn't. It was just becoming legal here. And it became legal in 2012. And like I said, late 2013, I had my little incident with the oxy and psych meds. And he said, let's try the morphine and marijuana. Boom! We hit the nail right on the head. And that is what's made me an activist. And that's why I tell you the facts. So please help me spread the word. Spread these facts. And spread the shame of people like Jeff Sessions. And these people that say God doesn't want it here. God, if there's a God, God put it here. God put the opium poppy here. Okay? It's not just a pretty plant. That's where heroin comes from. So God put the poppy plant here. God put hemp here. God put cannabis here. I don't believe in God. But nature. We're made up of star stuff. Our bodies have receptors for certain things. We have an opiate receptor for poppies, opiates, opium, morphine, Morpheus, the god of death. That's what morphine is named off from, because it takes you close to death. And that's where the physical dependence comes in, and psychological dependence for the junkies, is it takes them to that edge, and they become dependent in no time at all. Chronic pain, as I've just explained to you, uses painkillers. And when it uses up the painkillers and there's still pain present, there is no euphoria, so there's no buzz. So what is the purpose? The purpose is to be as pain-free as possible. So, share this video. Help me get the Justice Department straightened out and help us get President Trump to leave medical marijuana alone in all the states, because the more and more states that legalize, you will see less and less domestic violence, alcoholic accidents, murders, rapes, and I'm sorry, let me be straight out, okay? But cocaine. If you ever saw the movie Less Than Zero, okay? Guys would actually suck dick for a shot of crack cocaine. Okay? Nobody has ever said, I'll suck your dick for a bag of weed. Nobody. Think about that. Okay? Marijuana is the safest plant-based medicine, and it is made to fit our body like a lock and a key. And we have at least 2 cannabinoid receptors known, and there's speculation on a 3 that affects the PDE4. That Google that stuff up and do some research on your own. And maybe come up with some questions. And give me those questions on Facebook. Come to my group, I put all these videos on my group. All my groups. And all the pages I belong to that have to do with cannabis. My videos go everywhere because I want people to share them. So please share my videos. Tag state representatives, tag your governors, tag legislators, tag senators, congressmen, representatives, and the White House. I've been tagging the president. I don't know if he's read anything, but I just kept tagging all before the election and after the election. I was saying, stick to your campaign promise to leave states alone as they enact medical marijuana programs. So, I'm getting hurting a little bit here. I got to take a morphine and lay down, watch some TV. Peace out, folks. Love, truth, and happiness. Free marijuana from the prison of ignorance. And don't worry about opioids. If you take marijuana, you're safe. Just don't overdose. Don't overdo your morphine. Take it as scheduled, okay? Add cannabis to it, and you will not have a monkey on your back. I can almost guarantee you that. But it's up to the person. Some people get mentally dependent easily on things, because that's what an addictive personality is. So, I'm an alcoholic addict, but I'm controlled. And that's part of it too. That's the mental part of the 4 M's. Okay? I'm able to care for myself mentally in my projects and being able to keep myself occupied by doing college courses online and learning new things and studying marijuana, because it has had this huge impact on my life, and it has improved the quality of my life. So, help me legalize. Share, share, share. Peace out. Free the weed. Free hemp. Hemp industry. Multi-trillion-dollar crop. It'll build the president's wall, and then some. And it'll save oil-based plastics. That's a whole nother thing. Go look up my hemp videos. Peace out.